Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to SnowRunner. Let's see what we have to do today though. It's going to be loud and clear. With the base station restored, it might be a good idea to keep a stock of replacement parts somewhere nearby. We have cleaned up some space at the local lumberyard. It should be a safe enough storage for our equipment. Deliver to the old lumberyard in the Rift. Vehicle spare parts 2 times. Definitely going to do that right. So we are right here with our beautiful Taiga 6436. We have an A- though in engine power rating. It's because we have here on the rear. And by the way, we should have checked that out also with the concrete slabs in the last episode and all, where we did really struggle in that episode though. My oh my, the mud just seemed way deeper than it was ever before. Which is actually very interesting though. You know, like different setups, different cargo, just an entire different feeling. Kind of funny. Also, if you are on off-road, you better be careful, alright? Don't go 4 out of 4 with the engine, with automatic gears. Because every little pebble, though, destroys your truck. Absolutely it will. At least, you know, on the roads behind us, from the garage towards this location, it is madness, though. It is absolutely something that just wrecks your suspension, your gas tank, your engine, and your tires at certain times, right? You know, I had to totally repair everything. It's good that there's a repair station right en route towards this location too. We were a little bit lucky there though, or else I had 1/4 of a suspension, believe it or not. So yeah, you know, like be careful. It seems like this part of the road is way more friendly for off-roaders though. Oh, that's what I mean though. Just normally around the corner and we took some damage already. Early in the morning, oh boy. So what we have to do right now is we have to get some gasoline. Then we have to go towards the Rift. It's going to be interesting. I think we have not been to the Rift with the Taiga. And with these balloon tires though, which are absolutely amazing by the way. It might be a little bit difficult to actually enter the place, right? Because we have a very, very narrow section with a steep cliff and rock sides. So, you know, technically 2 cliffs, 1 drop. It's going to be trouble if we are not careful. I think we could take this one already. Yeah, this is the best one if we want a shortcut, but let's go on and then take the first one right over there. Not a difficult haul though for the Taiga, but let's just stay on the roads for now. No issue though. No issue. Yeah, what I think though is that we do need trucks like this a little bit more often for quick hauls, one might say, but that's not the priority though. Just for easy hauls though. Because if we put concrete slabs though, like 2 on the rear of a Taiga, as an off-road though, it is very, very difficult to move forward through the mud. So I think this is the same weight as just 1 slab, concrete slab. So keep that in mind though. You really have to prioritize the truck that fits the cargo. And you might be thinking like, big duh. A lot of players are new. A lot of players are stuck in their own ways, right? You know, like this is my favorite truck, so I'm going to play it this way. And in time you might start to annoy with your favorite truck a little bit more than you normally should, or anything like that. Being disappointed, in other words, right, you know? Woo! Went a little bit too quick there through the woods, but yeah, out of 4 out of 4 with an off-road. Just pure damage everywhere. I don't mind it though. I find it funny, to be honest. As long as there's repair stations here and there, right, scattered around. And sometimes you just want to go pedal to the metal though. Although we should technically play a rally game then. This is all about survival, staying active as long as we can. And high gear is just a little bit slower, as you see, than automatic. 4 out of 4. Yeah, high is more like 3 out of 4. Yeah, definitely is 3 out of 4 though. Maybe 2.7. So almost a 3. So yeah, you know, like this is way more stable and it's quicker than a heavy truck. This is my advice to you. Steady, no damage, nothing at all. Still quick. And a lot of control though, because you're not overspeeding. Ooh, be careful though with the balloon tires. Low gear up here. Yeah, being bouncy here with the low tire, with the balloon tires is just asking for disaster. Now, where do we have to go? All the way towards there. Okay, that's not a bad thing. We got the tuss over there still, if I'm not mistaken. I think we are just going to go from here, follow this. Just the easy road. Why not? It's it's a fun road. It has deep mud here and there, but the roads are decent though to drive to. They're pretty good. Beautiful repair. And of course, like always, stocking up on gasoline though. You don't want to get stuck out here. It's a long hike though to civilization. Talking about long hikes, by the way, kind of reminds me of a YouTuber I started to watch, right? Who is living off the grid. And he did ask his neighbor to pick him up with the boat, so he didn't have to hike for 3 miles. That's 4.89 kilometers through the forest. I mean, I don't want to sound like grandpa though, but there were times that I had to walk that to school and back. Right, you know? And I mean, 3 miles to school and 3 miles back. It's not that much though. It takes an hour, right? You know, a little bit less though. And yeah, it is no issue at all. Kind of sucks as a kid though. But yeah, my bicycle was broken and I didn't have any transport. So, you know, like, just had to go. No matter what. And yeah, that's the funny thing about it though, right? You know, I mean, you're going to live off the grid. And then you want to live in pure luxury. He's from the city though, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. But the first thing he installs on his new plot, you know, sorry, I find it very funny though, is a satellite dish, so he can make phone calls, and a little windmill, so he can have some extra electricity, right? Which is good. But he didn't even set the tent up. You know what I mean though? He was just there to install it. And then he was leaving because he wanted to sleep in a hotel or at his home somewhere probably close by or something that they are renting, right? My boy. First rule. If you don't have a tent, well, if you have a tent, you set up the tent. If you don't have a tent, you're going to cut down timber and make yourself a nice sleeping place, right? Then you're making a wind cast, you know, like a tiny fence sideways around it or completely, so you live a little bit more in a little bit of a controlled luxury of wind and weather and stuff like that. You know, like, that's the priorities though. And then you start to assemble, you know, luxury like a satellite dish for internet, you know, or just a satellite dish for phone reception, which is awesome, by the way. Nothing against that. You don't have to be in the Stone Age. But am I right or am I right? You know what I mean? Thank you. That shall be more than plenty for minor repairs on the station itself and of vehicles if the need arises. I'm very happy to have helped these boys out. This one, supply and demand, huh? Drilling equipment delivery. Delivered to the oil field in Zimnagorsk. Oversized cargo 1 time and cargo container 2 times. Not the worst job in the world. We need anything from here, though. Not sure why I cannot control. Now we can control it. Okay, so we have 2 over here on this map itself. Awesome sauce. Let's get going. So I've been talking for the last 10 minutes or something. So we delivered that mission, though. I hope it's actually there. Well. I'm very lucky, though. It was all recorded. That's very good. So, yeah, you know, like I don't have to repeat my little story. Although I do like the story quite a bit, though. I find it very funny. I think he just has to wake up to the reality of living off the grid. And it's not like, oh, how it looks like on YouTube. You know, because you see the good sides and good parts and everything. And I think he has to learn to let go of the civilized world and have to create his own civilization, though. That's with very remote neighbors, no steady internet or any other luxuries, right? You know, you all have to make that yourself happen, and it's difficult, though. It's difficult. But it will give a great joy, because I remember, though, right, you know, when we didn't have the internet. It's not that long ago, by the way, right, you know? I'm just saying there. But yeah, if we didn't have the internet or something, friendship meant so much more than what it is right now. You just go around and you visit, you know, and playing around and stuff like that. It all was so different, though. Like movie night, it was cool. It was a little bit more mysterious. You didn't know a lot, you know, and same goes for video games or sports. All those events, though, right? You know, that you either create yourself, just had so much more meaning because you actually don't know anything about it, right? You know, I remember. Maybe that's a bad example, though. Let me come up with a good one. Yeah, gaming. Right now we are thrown to death with tutorials and guides and where to get what and how to get it, and all the surprises of games are gone in the first hour of release of a game. There are already complete guides on how to beat it, how to find every little secret and everything like that, though. I find that totally absurd. And there is no hate here, though, to such gamers, right? But a little bit of criticism. There are so many gamers out there that actually play only with guides. So they have everything completed. They just follow a complete guide, right? And meta builds. And you just want to be number 1 and everything. But you will never be number 1 this way, because you just copy. You might see that your build is better than some other people's build. But if it comes to PvP, and not just raw power or item gear, they are actually losing really, really quickly, though. To someone who experiences, who builds themselves, who does everything themselves, right? And the mystery that we had before with games, they were just new, they were wow, surprise, and we had a little book in the CD-ROM or the DVD later on, right? You know, in the little box that we did get. And we were, well, the only tutorial we had were what you could do in this game compared with the Forerunner. Button layout, a little bit of lore, and that's about it. And then everything was up to your fantasy, your friends and family. And maybe a gaming magazine. One of the reasons why the Elder Scrolls Online, as an example, or well, is a little bit more hated than the Elder Scrolls itself, like Oblivion, Morrowind, Skyrim, and other games like that, is that those games made you fill in the gaps. They have written such extensive lore, and layer upon layer and upon layer of lore. I think we should have gone here to, yeah, we can still do it. And layer upon layer of lore, and every race has a little different view of it, so you will just see it from your favorite race that you can play, either a Khajiit, an elf, an orc, a human, or whatever, right? You know. And then you're filling those gaps with your own fantasy, or analytic capabilities, or puzzle pieces that you do find here and there scattered around. Maybe you have a second favorite race, and you take lore bits from that one. And then there are thousands and thousands of theories and stories and fan lore and everything around, and that is how you get something going. You know what I mean? In the Elder Scrolls Online, all of that is thrown out of the window. You see known characters and demigods and gods and all that stuff, but it's different. It's all pre-told. There's no mysteries, and so the game is rather popular. It's not as popular as it should have been. Not even close to it. And that's why mystery is good. Now back to my little rant, right, you know, about the guy. I'm not hating him, by the way, absolutely not though, because I know that a lot of people see a little bit of criticism or anything like that as hate or something like that though, right, you know? That's not what this is about, because I watch his content. I'm enjoying his content, right? And I support his content. So that is that. But if you focus on the luxury things while you are going off the grid, you miss out on the mystery and character development that comes along with it. Like, he poured gasoline on paper and sticks to make a fire. Instead, and then he used a lighter. Instead of not using the lighter, the other things are already a little bit like, luxury. Instead of doing that, he could have used flint and steel. You know? It's at least something, you know what I mean? Or tinder bits. Right? You could make those little flocks from a knife and a stick. You know, like little feather pieces. All those little things will just stack on, and it will develop a character. It might be difficult at first. Might be annoying at first. Well, it is very annoying. Especially if it doesn't work out. But it builds up character. Builds up resistance, endurance, toughness. And it gives hope though. It gives hope for the long run. And that is what he's going to miss with. And I'm a little bit afraid that he might give up later on. And I really hope he does not though. And the same can be said over with trucks, right? Like if you only use the ZigZ and never a different truck, then you get spoiled so much though, so much, because you just keep on hauling with everything, by the way. Oh, as you can see, no matter what weight, it's still A+. This is really cool though. Durability A+, and fuel consumption is C-. It is so good though with fuel consumption. 500 liters. And extras on top. I think you guys get what I mean, right? And sometimes we will have these little rants. Why not? And 1, 2. Awesome sauce. Oversized cargo delivered to the oil field. Easy peasy lemon squeezy though. This is going to be very quick. I'm certain of it though. We are just going through the forest where we did find the Tataran. Yeah. I think actually that's the best way to go through it though, right? You know, it saves a lot of time too. And it is almost like a straight path. Which is awesome though. Which is very awesome. And it's easy to maneuver in there. So yeah, I totally recommend going through it. Especially if you have a heavy hauler. Yeah. If you don't, take the straight road though. But at this point you should have a couple of super heavies or, you know, normal heavies. By the way, yep, still the same engine power though, even with oversized cargo, which is interesting. Huh. Yeah, it must be because of the heavy torque though, of the super heavy. It's something that I never paid attention to, but I do believe though, because the Tiger started to struggle quite a bit, and it's a super strong truck though for its class. You know, especially in mud and all, that it kind of lowers the torque strength, the engine power. Could be. I'm not 100% certain though. I'm not sure how it actually technically works with it all, but I do know that certain things have an effect on that. Like a flatbed with cargo on it, 2 times the vehicle spare parts, did lower actually the engine strength of the Tiger. So I can imagine with a trailer like this, an oversized cargo, it's the same story though with the Tiger. Ooh, doesn't want to take the turn though because of the rock, but just in time we can still take it. And from here we are going up the hill almost. I will go a little bit further though, because right over there you don't really have to go. Just go right towards there. No turn, just straight forward. Oh yeah. It's a scary haul though, right, you know, in this way, especially because it's a little bit muddy, meaning you can slide rather easily downhill a little bit though, and if there's something in between, you can easily flip and tip over, especially with rocks though. And we have plenty of those. And right around here though, you gotta be very careful. I already see a couple of tree trunks. Alright, here is nothing so far. Put the lights on. There is one big one and a couple of smaller ones close by it. And let's go and build this big boy. I'm sure the drill has to be adjusted in a little bit though, or delivered first, of course. Not bad, not bad. You handled that well. It's not easy to find professional drivers at such short notice. We thank you. And I thank you for the money. Now for order supply and demand. Concrete slab 2 times have to be delivered there, which is interesting. And we can take that from a different region though, and deliver to the warehouse vehicle spare parts 4 times. Kinda interesting. We might do that directly though, I think, right? Let's see where we have to take these from. Now that we are set here for the long haul, we are considering repurposing some of the old factories here to suit our current needs, which means we could use some help getting them fixed and fully stocked. Concrete slabs and vehicle spare parts. Concrete slabs are actually very close by. It's right here in the quarry. Now the other one is in the first zone. So let's grab the, the concrete slabs first here in the quarry, right? So I will see you guys there. And I think that's actually the smartest thing to do that we can, yeah, technically do right now, right? You know, with the 6Z. Not that we have to do it with the 6Z though, but I already have it in my hands, right? You know? I kind of feel like I'm tempted though, right? You know, to actually choose the 4-on for it. But we already have delivered with that one, the concrete slabs, to almost the same location. Oh yeah, we did pull out an old brand though, compared to a newer one, the 6Z. Look at this beast, man. It's the White Western Star 4964. I tuned it a little bit with some extras, race suspension, stuff like that we installed. And I think we should actually skip the time a little bit. I don't like to do it, but just 200 the old bloke right over here, right? And this truck is special though, isn't it? Now, let's go right over here. We do want to have 2. I really hope though this old bloke can do it for us, because that will make me happy. That will put a smile on my face. There's something about these old American trucks though that are just, you know, so fitting for this type of work now, isn't it? I mean, it's just a symbol of old school power, you know? Just rough and tough. Oh yeah, this is what I mean. You know, classic wood everywhere. It's very nice though. No modern stuff at all. As you can clearly see, we're already stuck. Durability. Yeah. It's the rocks though. Let's blame the rocks. That's alright. There's a very powerful winch, so I'm sure we will do fine. It sadly doesn't has a low gear plus, low gear minus, but for that it has extra speed. And I mean, this bloke would be able to do this though. I almost did brought out the cat, but then I did see this one and I thought like, oh yeah, you know what I mean? We didn't use it very much though, right, in Michigan, sadly, so this is just a little compromise. A little one. Definitely want to make a picture with it. Alright, we want to take a wide turn here. But we don't want to get the same problem like what we had with the... Was the 6Z, right? Yeah, it was. But let's be honest. We all know, like, it will get stuck too. Yeah, we all know this already. You know, on the trailer itself, it already is a little bit. Really has the powers to begin with right now, sadly. Yeah, man. 2 concrete slabs though. It is brutal. It really is brutal. Come on. Don't pull yourself to the left. It rather pulls to the left than to pull me up. No way. It is interesting though. Let's try to do the same thing with the differential gear on again. Oh, look at that though. This time it wants to activate it instantly. There you go. That is what I meant. This was the issue what we had with the 6Z. No way that I can just turn it like that though. What we could do, go from there. Or go towards there from here. That is also a possibility. I think I accidentally pressed on the differential lock though before, because it's rather powerful though. But I'm not certain about that. Just a little bit further though. Come on, big boy. It is rather good though, right? By staying clear from the road. And this way we might get a little bit lucky. Or we just tip over. Remember, I have the strongest winds installed. And it doesn't do anything. Yeah, sadly the white western star is totally stuck right now. I cannot get it to move. Not one little bit. So, you know what? Remove cargo. Can we do it now? Oh yeah, now we can do it. A plus. We shall check that in a little bit though, but it already makes a little bit of a difference though, right? There we go. It is just meant to do this job one at a time though. But we kind of want to go for efficiency, and if we had done that, by the way, we would already be on the way for a second turn. So efficiency is not always, you know, like do most things at the same time. Because if we did actually do it one at a time, I think we could just haul up there, you know. And I think this crew is actually made to do that. I really think it is made to do that though. Alright. I have a little hope right now. Because we cannot even move up here. Sure, now we are stuck, but before that we could not even do it. Before that we could not even do it though, so that is interesting. Come on. Come on. I so want this old truck to win though. I really want it to win, you know. Okay, now it has movement, which is great. A little pebble can do, right, you know? We only have tiny pebbles over here. Clearly now, as you can see, massive boulders and everything, but whew, we were lucky with this one. That's why I don't like to give up, you know? That's why I don't like to give up. Let's go with the ultra wide term. The fleet star right off. The international right now is not as long as the 6Z, so this turn might be a lot easier, and it's not as long as the 4-on either, so there might be a big benefit here. Trailer is pretty long on its own. That is an issue, especially if it gets stuck though on the axis movement. And then we have rocks everywhere. See? There we go. Oh, a little toolbox though. The little toolbox. Yeah, it's a massive weak point. But we are managing though at this point, right? We are hauling forward. Can we really do it? The 6Z could not do this though. Or was it the 4-on? One of the two could not do this. That is interesting. One of those two could not do it though. And that means maneuverability 1 here. Wow. For real though. Maneuverability 1 here. If we can go on. Still have to do the climb. This one is rather bad at climbing though. Very bad. And here we go. Nice. No. Are you stuck at the same spot? Almost. Now we are going over it. Woo. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Come on, big boy. Come on, we can do it. Now we can win without issues though. Which is great. Which is absolutely fantastic. Sun is going down. One might think this is the worst ride of the journey. It's not. There will be deep mud. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Come on, big boy. Doesn't this feel good? Doesn't it feel rewarding? Wow. He's not as strong though as the 6Z or the 4-on. But my oh my, it did the job that those two could not do. And that just shows though, it is way more than just torque, right? It is so much more than torque. that's the beautiful thing about all of this. Technically, we could take a turn here. But I don't think we have the strength for that. Look at him go! Oh, itchy nose and almost an accident, of course. Yep. But the beautiful thing about it is, though, right, you know, whether you scratch your nose in the middle of a critical turn or you just keep on going. I think we are going down here. And then over here. It is a little bit less muddy, but it still is dangerous here, so we still have to be careful. Oh, I wonder though right now, why don't I remember it? Was it the 6E or the 4-on that was over here? Doesn't matter. All that we do know, it was way stronger than this truck. And it failed. And it failed hard. Technically, I would say we have to go right. I know left is where we want to go. Because there's the road. But I think there's deep mud in between. And right, we have to go a little bit off-road. Just a tiny bit. Oh no, look at that though. Yeah, I confused it with that one. Luxurious. Very luxurious. Put it in high gear. Nope, cannot do it. Man, I am happy though, right? You know, congratulations though, big boy. Congratulations though, the White Western Star. What a truck though. What a comeback, by the way. What a comeback. Ooh, I never expected though one of the early trucks to get through there. When the later trucks, you know, didn't do it. That is so cool to see, right? You know, it's so cool to see. Like an old boxer stepping in the ring again with a cocky young fighter. You know, and just one smack. And he's going home though. Like dad's home and he's been drinking, you know, that type of comeback. You have to be very careful for the gasoline. As you can see, the tank is red, but 59 liters, more than enough to go to the garage. Could turn all-wheel drive off just to lower the usage and increase the line of mileage. Right now with it's like 17 and without it's more like 10. So yeah, always keep up an eye on your liter per minute usage. Now the thing about this is though, right, you know, and I was curious about the cat too, like I said. And the road that we are going to haul it through right now is just as difficult as the other one, as the quarry. So why not try out the cat right now? Is it trailer? Oh, there's a couple of flashlights though, huh? Oh yeah, I really hope the game developers, after all the seasons, will do something about the bloom effect though, because this bloom effect is nuts. I can already tell you the difference right now between the two trucks is that this turn radius is much wider than on the White Western Star. And I'm doing these tests, by the way, because I'm a jack of all trades though. I don't have any preference, to be honest, with trucks, although I have certain trucks that I really do love because of its strength and capabilities and everything. But I kind of want to have an identity though, right, you know, for the trucks. Or maybe a challenge like European trucks. They are mostly Russian trucks though, or Eastern European trucks in North American regions and North American trucks in North American regions only. That will be an interesting challenge too, to be honest. I'm just looking like a little identity though, right? You know, that we can have with SnowRunner. So if you do have an idea, do let me know. But I don't want to be totally limited either, right? You know what I mean? And as you can see though, we're already bogged down quite a little bit though. But here we go, we keep on hauling. Now this one has actually this one, right? Suspension mode. There we go. Now maybe that will help out a little bit. I have no idea, it's dark. Are those tires even moving? Nope. Just help a little by suspension though. Yeah, they are moving, but because of the other ones. Oh wow. Yeah, this is what I do enjoy though. This is what I do enjoy. Kind of feel in this game, by the way, that I'm like an old granny. Like I'm hovering really over the steering wheel. A little bit close to the steering wheel, in other words, right? You know, like we could ask for a little bit more distance though towards it. So we will see a little bit more while we are in the cabin. That would be pretty nice to have. So far, it has an S plus tier engine though, which is absolutely amazing. I can feel the difference though by some other trucks. It's a heavy duty truck too. It's a beautiful truck. A little bit more sleek than the White Western Star. Very modern interior though, as you can clearly see. Interesting buttons, by the way. But right now, it just struggles as much though, which I do appreciate, right? You know, because I don't want any truck to be totally obsolete. That's a little bit of a sad thing, right? You know, because imagine you really have like real life experience with a truck, or you know, like as a kid you did see a truck and you really love that one whatsoever. That's the sad thing about yeah, trucks though, right? You know, they are clear winners, let's be honest too. But to have an absolute truck, it's kind of sad though. I have to say, I'm surprised. We have been through here in the darkness too before. And we did struggle a lot more, and I believe it was with the Foron. No, it was with the Tiger. Yes, the Tiger did struggle here a lot though. And remember, that one has balloon tires, right? That's number 1 wolf, and then soon we will see around 20 wolves. Of which there are the majority to the left, and then we have a whole bunch right in front of us in that forest too. Boom. Nice. The little obstacle in the road is gone. And there's nothing worse though, right? You know, deep mud and then obstacles in the mud too. There was one map, I believe it was Michigan, that had a big boulder deep in the mud though. And it felt kind of frustrated though, until I pulled back and I did see that we were actually balancing our truck right in the middle of that rock. Yeah, that was a different experience though. That was a different experience. No matter the tricks we applied or anything like that, nothing worked though. The wiggle, the balancing more towards the right, but in other words, steering a lot to the right compared to the left, or vice versa, nothing worked though. That was the interesting thing about it. Lots and lots and lots of wolves around here. Disappearing? Slowly, yes, but still plenty around. I have to say, man, you know, if you don't want to use the ZXZ, use the cat. The cat is really good. I am pleasantly surprised. Yeah, look at that. Lots of them to the right side. Absolutely bananas though. And by the way, that air intake. Whew. I want it for summer to cool my room, you know. And from now on, it will be much easier. Look at the gas tank, by the way. Yeah, the fuel tank, man, you know, it's going down. Going down quick. It's a guzzler. Can't blame it though, right, to be a little bit more thirsty with the mud and of course, you know, the concrete slabs. No issues there. Oh yeah, this was the last difficult part. We have to go to the right as quick as possible, because if we get half of our tracks, so, you know, like 4 tracks on one side, then we are doing peachy. There we go. We are doing peachy. If we did not get stuck. We were a little bit too peachy with the side there. I believe, yeah. Oh, it's the toolbox. There we go, come on. Slide next to it now. Okay, beautiful though. A little bit too fanatic of me. Yeah, there's something though that pulled me deeper inside of the mud. Not just that though, to the side. You have seen it, right? Let's try to get here from the side. Oh, did you see that? That tree was moving for some reason. Finally. Woo-wee! Now it's going to be easy, game. Do you hear me? Oh, yeah. And now it launched me to the stratosphere, though. I would die of laughter if that would happen. If the game is just trolling me. That will be so funny. I mean, it's a little bit more fair though, right? You know, to set the time a little bit further back. It wouldn't be too many hours off from 6. I believe it was 4. But yeah, you know, like, by the way, this is the Caterpillar CT681. It's something else, isn't it? Interesting. Trailer 4 to 5. There's so many details there, though, that I always skipped. It's good to check. Let's take the white one. Or pretend to be a British truck driver. Pardon me though. With the bottle of water comes a lorry driver. Yeah, they are called lorries there. Right? Correct me if I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. That's always a good thing to do. Yo. Nice. Alrighty then. Well, that was that with this one. See you guys once we do pick up the vehicle spare parts. Vehicle spare parts. I kind of wanted to haul another one though, just for the loss of it. Still an S plus though. Yeah, this big boy, by the way, the S of 73210. It's a tough cookie though. I wanted to be sure, and once I did start to drive this one, I knew it was the back pinnacle though. That struggled a little bit more than the cat over there. So that is good to know though. That is good to know, because it was a little bit confusing though. Like, this guy struggling? Kind of feels wrong, you know? Yeah, this one did not struggle. This one did not struggle though. This is the little engine that cooled and just keeps on doing it and cooling it and whatever you want to call it though, right? Play for words or whatever. Man, it feels good. This truck though, it is mostly my go-to because it is way less military looking than the 6Z, but military looking is cool. You know what I mean? The 6Z is just a very strange design, and it's probably made to transport some rockets though for space, or you know, other things, because of the little U or W shape type of cabin. More like a U, right? So yeah, you know, like it is a little bit wrong. It is a little bit wrong though, to compare like that probably, but the cabin is a little bit wonky looking compared to something like this, right? Because now I can just imagine you guys are sitting next to me and behind me, you know, probably snacking on something, I don't know, but it feels more natural though. It feels more flowing with this truck compared to the Azov 6Z. And I believe I have to force myself away to not use the 6Z though for a lot of things. Because it's so useful though for the super heavy hauls. By the way, do you know what would be a very, very nice little extra to haul? Think about this. Very remote locations. You have a shopping you have a shop there. And we have to haul milk. I mean, that is so basic though, but people want their milk, right? And then we do already have produce, right? That we can haul from farms, provisions. But maybe a little bit more detailed boxes though, right? Crates with certain things on it. Electronica we could haul around. You know, like household appliances. Those will be nice and weird little gimmicks though that we could haul in a very remote place though. That would be very fun in my opinion. It's just a little extra. But it's not as epic though as delivering vehicle spare parts, because it just makes sense to haul this around. I think you all can agree a little bit with me there, right? You know that it will be a nice little extra. Especially if it's a one and done type of deal per map. If the map is fitting for it. Because I don't think though a region like Zimnagorsk, Quarry, Rift and the wetlands all combined drink 10,000 liters or gallons of milk away in a day or 7 to 2 weeks. That will be extreme. We have seen the houses around here. There are not a lot of those though, unless they are hardcore milk drinkers, which I doubt. You know, like it will be something else, or maybe they are very generous on the cereals, right? You know. Let's make the tea split right over here and then go through the deep mud, because I'm very curious though how this big boy actually performs. In the same region, the Mech Pinnacle did actually struggle so much with. Right, Right over here. Just brute forcing it though, doesn't matter. It's good steel. You know what I mean though. That's a waste. That's a waste though, huh? To do this to a beautiful truck and trailer. Here we are. At least we can move on though right now. Oh yeah. Remember, this is just as heavy as 2 slabs of concrete. And it just keeps on hauling. Just keeps on hauling though. How quick are we going? Ooh, 15 though. Not bad. 15 km/h. Kilometers per hour. Around like 8, 9 miles per hour. I already was a little bit confused, right? You know, like, how can this truck, the 407, what was it? The 73210, yes. How could it fail in deep mud? How could it struggle like I thought it would? It didn't. It was just wrong truck though that we had in our mind. By the way, isn't it a little bit troublesome though why the wolves always hang around close to those 2 cabins, those 2 houses? You know? Like, do they search for some remains, some food maybe, that he once had once upon a time? Yeah, I think they are. Well, we did not have to use the winds. Sometimes it's just good to do it, right? You know, we are not ego drivers. But it's good also to punish your trucks, though, and to see how far you can take them. Look at that smog, by the way. So much smoother. There is no comparison so far. Remember, this big boy over here does not has the race suspension just yet. So imagine if it had. Because right now, as you can see, we are just sometimes scraping down there. Very bad. Right now we are raced because it's not deep mud right now. And as you can see, we are also increasing speed at the moment. So yeah, without the scraping, it will be so much smoother. But this is going to be interesting, right? Remember the last time that we were here? Somehow the trailer got pulled deeper and deeper and deeper in the mud. Guess what? It wasn't the same episode, right? So not too much to think of. But let's see how it goes. We are going to take the same side. And nothing. So it was just very bad luck with the cat, though. Very bad luck. And to be expected. But it was nothing more than just bad luck, right? You know, like wrong pixel, wrong place. Especially if the object was solid and the pixel was made solid too by the code, right? And it's just impossible to get through there. And here we go. Beautiful. Alright, well done. That should give us plenty of space for extra vehicles, as well as the supplies we need to keep them running. That's really cool though. Sadly we don't see an upgrade, but at least you have a couple of clean Dixie toilets right over there, right? I mean, very important stuff, very important stuff. And by that, I want to thank you all for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Have a wonderful time, and I will see you guys in the next episode. Stay happy, stay healthy, and don't forget to subscribe though. Bye bye.